Okay, everybody. So today's presentation is going to be 5 ways to secure your business network. And we came up with 5 ways because there's so many more, but we wanted to narrow it down to 5 and give you 5 easy ways to start securing your network right now. My name is Garry Feldman, and I am So US Computer Connection is the managed service provider. We're located in Stanford, and we're your outsourced IT department. That's what we do for our clients. We offer them services ranging anywhere from help desk to cybersecurity and all the other items that are listed on this screen as well. This is our 30th year in business, so we're pretty excited about that. It's a long time in the IT industry. So the number one thing that we feel that the best way to secure your defense is by creating a culture of security at your office. This is really critical because they're going to be the protectors, your employees are going to be the protectors of all your assets. So basically what you need to do is you need to educate them on how to handle calls that are asking for wire transfers or W-2s. And I know it sounds silly, and some of you might have a small business or a large business, but these calls go through and people respond to them and they have success. We've seen it with our customers, and they send out this information. Large companies like Snapchat had a big breach with W-2s, and people call up, and it sounds real, but you got to tell your employees what to look for. Maybe they have some verification code that they have to go through before they send this information out. But it goes deeper than that because you want to also have them identify what's a real email versus one that's phishing for information, and talk to them about shredding sensitive data versus throwing it out into the trash. Creating the culture starts at the top, and everyone has to participate. And we do free trainings like this because we want our clients that this is so important. We come out and we could talk to your employees as well on best practices, but we also subscribe to services like KnowBe4 that provides our clients and their employees with constant stream of training. And this is a way that you could track what they're doing, that they take a test, they watch a video. And this is really important, especially if you have to deal with compliance. If you don't have to deal with compliance, it's still important because they are the front line of defense for you. And antivirus or firewalls aren't going to protect you from any type of phishing attack. So number one is employee education. Number 2 is passwords and lockout policy. And I know this seems silly, but people still use simple passwords. Now, I took out the top 10 passwords, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is number 1. And to make it a little bit more complicated, number 10 was 987654321. People might have other simple passwords that they put in there. Maybe it's their name and a birth date. And that's not good enough because I gave you a link here, howsecureismypassword.net, and it's something that you can go online and you could test. What we're recommending is a minimum of 14 characters. You can't use your previous 24 passwords, and you want to be able. And this is one of those things that people get annoyed with, but it's your system. Implementing a lockout policy that after 5 failed attempts, then your account will be locked out. And also, if you walk away from your screen, we want that screen to log off after 10 minutes of inactivity, just to make sure that no one's going to be able to have access to your computer. Now, the reason why we want to have you have this password policy is because passwords can easily be harvested from web browsers. If you ever go online and you do a little shopping and your web browser says, hey, would you like us to save this information? And a lot of people say, sure, I would. And when you do that, that information is stored on your network. But if your computer gets compromised, that's one of the first things that these attacks go after. And they go after these passwords and usernames. And once they have access to them, they're sold on the black market and they're posted up online. So it's very easy to access them. Your username and password can also get harvested when a site gets hacked. And let's take Yahoo, for example, because 1 billion accounts, and all those usernames and password right now, and they check sites. You used the Yahoo username and then the same password, and let's try it at Chase and Bank of America or PayPal. And since many people use the same credentials over and over again, it's easy to get into these sites. So we're strongly recommending that you use unique usernames and passwords, or certainly a unique password for every site that you go to. And we're going to talk about how you're going to be able to do that as well. So these are the things that we can enforce. If you have a domain controller, we're able to enforce the password policy using group policy. So we could say, okay, the next time you log in, it's going to require you to have a minimum of 14 characters and everything else that we described. So if you do this for home, we certainly recommend that you're changing your passwords on a regular basis. Passwords are an easy way to get in. That's why it's our number 2. Number 3 is 2FA, which is two-factor authentication. Now, we talked about how your accounts get harvested, and over 95% of attacks involve harvesting credentials from customer devices and then logging into other web applications that we talked about. And what two-factor authentication does, it enables, if someone does have your username and password, it'll send a second form of alert to your device, usually a cell phone, and it's going to say, hey, is this really you trying to log in? And that really locks down your passwords and gives you an extra level of security. Banks are offering that. They've been offering that for some time now. We use a program called Duo to help lock down your office networks. So that way, especially if you have remote users, and this is another way of securing your network and everything else that's on there. But you can also enable this on other sites such as your bank, WordPress, Amazon. So many sites offer that two-factor authentication. So now you have a strong password, and if some reason that username and password gets harvested, you have a second level of security, which is your two-factor authentication, and they can't get in unless you authorize that user to get in. So that second form of authentication is so critical, and that's why 2FA is our number 3. Number 4, well, now that we told you that you need to use a unique password for every site that you go to, how are you going to remember a password vault to help create and remember those strong passwords? What we recommend, there's a program called Cybersecurity, and it's a place that it's an online solution that'll keep all your passwords. And you're saying, well, online might not be safe. So what we're able to do is we enable two-factor authentications. So not only is your data on the web encrypted, but now all of a sudden, if someone needs to log in, for example, it'll give you, is this really you trying to access it? And you say yes. Download web browser plugins, access through a website or on your phone, and you could create strong passwords. They have what's called a dice. It'll create the strength and length of the password that you have. So if you want to say, I want to have a 20-character password that has upper and lower and numbers and symbols, you could do that because you don't have to remember it. You're able to have access it through this program called Cybersecurity. And using the plugins like Google or Internet Explorer or Firefox, it'll automatically put your credentials into those sites. So it's super easy, nice and secure, and it's a way that you can have a unique password for every site that you go to. No one should be saving passwords in your browsers. That's just a big risk. Another thing that we end up doing for our clients is weekly we clear the cache just in case someone forgets and they do save a password. We clear the cache in those web browsers so the passwords are gone. And number 5, our last one, is sending email through your email, and nothing through your email is safe or secure. Confidential information that has sensitive data such as social security number, financial information, passwords. We're recommending that you use a program such as ShareFile. ShareFile is a way that you could send either documents or the entire email securely and encrypted. The other person on the other end receives it, has to log on to a portal to view it. There's no, it's not in your Outlook, so in case Outlook gets compromised, or if you leave your computer on, if someone gets access to your computer, or if you have a laptop that gets stolen, all this information stays private and confidential, encrypted, and it's sensitive. There's so much more that we could talk about. We only did the top 5. We have a lots more that we'll probably do another webinar. I encourage you to ask any questions at this time. What we did was we created a social engineering advisory. This is something that we recommend that you download. It's and hand it out to your staff. This is something that tells people what to look for to see if it's a real or fake email address, a fake email. We put on events, free webinars often. So if you go to our uscomputer.com/events, this is where you could see and learn about our upcoming training. Our next one is going to be something on Microsoft Office. And then just for fun, you can go to our support page and get a phishing IQ test. A phishing IQ test is to see if you can really identify what is legitimate and what is not legitimate emails. All the products that we talked about today are products that we sell and can implement for you, and it's just a part of our security offering. So I know this is a quick one. I wanted to leave it open for any questions. And if not, have a great day.